Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Today we're talking about woke Ben&Jerry's being accused of hypocrisy for calling on the United States to hand over all stolen indigenous land when its own headquarters for its ice cream company sits on Native American soil in Vermont. And a local Native American chief is asking Ben&Jerry's to at least sit down with them to talk about returning the land and to also talk about what Ben&Jerry's can do to help indigenous people. It's the least that the Ben&Jerry's people can do. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, so if you can subscribe, please do subscribe. Coming from the New York Post, Ben&Jerry's headquarters is on stolen Native American land, Vermont chief says. Ben&Jerry's has called on the U.S. to give back stolen indigenous land, including Mount Rushmore, and now a Native American chief in Vermont said he'd like to talk about the land that's under the ice cream maker's own headquarters. The chunky monkey maker divided customers this week with a July 4th tweet that said, quote, "The United States was founded on stolen indigenous land. This 4th of July, let's commit to returning it." Ben&Jerry's added that the U.S. should start with Mount Rushmore, writing, "The faces on Mount Rushmore are the faces of men who actively work to destroy indigenous cultures and ways of life." On Friday, Don Stevens, chief of the Nulhegan Band of the Cusuk Abenaki Nation, one of 4 tribes descended from the Abenaki that are recognized in Vermont, told the New York Post in an interview that he looks forward to any kind of correspondence with the brand to see how they can better benefit indigenous people, which is great negotiating practice because he's not saying up front that he demands the land. Unlike the Ben&Jerry's people, he's not trying to demonize anyone. It shows he's not playing games. He's just interested in sitting down and holding Ben&Jerry to account to say, hey guys, you're both wealthy. You have a powerful ice cream company. You've got a business here. You're part of a multi-billion-dollar company, Unilever. There's no reason we can't talk about how you could at least help out indigenous people. Even if you don't give us the land, it opens up conversation. And I don't really see any way how the Ben&Jerry's people could get out of actually sitting down and talking to this guy. Stevens added that if the ice cream maker is sincere, it should reach out to him as the company's corporate headquarters, located at 30 Community Drive in South Burlington, Vermont, is situated on Western Abenaki land. Quote, "If you look at the Abenaki traditional way of being, we are place-based people. Before they were recognized tribes in the state of Vermont, we were the ones who were in this place," Stevens said, adding that the Abenaki view themselves as stewards of the land. "Humans have a responsibility to take care of resources in places because we have the ability to destroy," he added. Representatives for Ben&Jerry's did not immediately respond to questions from the New York Post asking for comments. Ben&Jerry's this week also included a call to action with a link to sign a petition to return Mount Rushmore to the Lakota peoples. Stevens declined to speculate on how the Lakota might react to Ben&Jerry's comments about Mount Rushmore. Quote, "I've not had a conversation with them," Ben&Jerry's, "so I cannot make any kind of judgment," he said. Abenaki is an Algonquin-speaking confederacy of Native Americans that merged with other tribes in the 17th century to protect themselves from other tribes, according to Encyclopedia Britannica. Historians estimated that in the early 1600s, about 10,000 Abenaki lived in what is now Vermont. There's currently about 2,500 members left in the state. Despite the controversy Ben&Jerry's has landed himself in, Stevens said he's enjoyed Ben&Jerry's ice cream, though he doesn't seem to think it was anything special. Quote, "I enjoy ice cream. I've tried their Ben&Jerry's ice cream, and I've tried many others," he told the New York Post. "It's a product like any other product." Ben&Jerry's 4th of July call received mixed responses, with many calling for boycotts of the brand in a move that echoes the aftermath of Bud Light's recent partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Just ask Target how that worked out recently. Not so well. Ben&Jerry's corporate parent, Unilever, a multi-billion-dollar company, got a taste of the backlash as $2 billion was erased from its stock market value in the wake of the July 4th post. It's hard to know what's going to happen stock-wise. These companies' stocks can go up and they can go down, but there's been a lot of reporting that the reduction in share price could be related to the Ben&Jerry's boycott, so it's definitely worth looking at. Unilever stock lost $2 billion amid calls to boycott Ben&Jerry's over a tweet. Ben&Jerry's parent company, Unilever, has lost nearly $2 billion in market cap amid calls to boycott the Vermont-based ice cream maker over their July 4th tweet condemning the U.S. for existing on stolen land. Shares of Unilever, the Anglo-Dutch multinational firm, slid 0.8% Thursday after closing down 0.5% the previous day. Company's stock price has closed Thursday at $51.31, nearly $1 below its closing price of $52.28 during Monday's shortened trading and the day before Ben&Jerry's posted its unpatriotic tweet. The result has seen its market capitalization, that's the value of all its stock together, dropped to $128.5 billion from $130.2 billion on just this past Monday. Ben&Jerry's, which was acquired by Unilever, but whose board remains independent in voicing its views on political issues, said the July 4th celebrations can distract from an essential truth about this nation's birth. So when Ben&Jerry's was sold, part of their deal was to still keep up with their political commentary, which has really always been part of Ben&Jerry's brand, but they really do need to stop the stunts, especially on a sacred holiday like July 4th. Quote, this July 4th, it's high time we recognize that the U.S. exists on stolen indigenous land and commit to returning it, the brand's official Twitter account and a statement on Ben&Jerry's website trumpeted. Quote, the faces on Mount Rushmore are the faces of men who actively work to destroy indigenous cultures and ways of life to deny indigenous people their basic rights. The tweet and the statement prompted social media users to call for a boycott of the ice cream maker, echoing the reaction to Bud Light's recent partnership with transgender social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Quote, make Ben&Jerry's Bud Light again, one Twitter user commented. Quote, just when you think Ben&Jerry's couldn't go any lower, they pull this stunt. Boycott Ben&Jerry's, another Twitter user wrote. On Wednesday, Unilever was also called out for its hypocrisy over continuing to sell its Cornetto ice cream and other products in Russia in defiance of calls to exit the country over its invasion of Ukraine, while criticizing the United States. Last year, Unilever's subsidiaries paid $331 million in taxes to the Kremlin, according to reports. Unilever has defended its decision to continue operations in Russia, saying that leaving the country is not straightforward. If the company pulled up stakes and left Russia, its 3,000 employees and its brands would be appropriated and then operated by the Russian state, according to the statement. So they're saying that the Russian government would just take over the brands and they would do it without Unilever. Okay, but that's happened to a lot of companies, so what makes them so special that their brands need to be protected in Russia? Quote, in addition, we do not think it's right to abandon our people in Russia, the firm said. So this is Ben&Jerry's. This is the kind of company they are. Now Ben&Jerry's is going to need to respond to the Vermont chief that just wants to sit down and talk about how Ben&Jerry's, if they're not going to give up the land, or maybe they will give up the headquarters land, they can go ahead and at least say how they can help indigenous people. They're multimillionaires, part of a multi-billion-dollar company. There's got to be something they can do so they can put their money where their mouth is. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you think Ben&Jerry's will at least meet with this Vermont Native American chief? Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.